Good evening, I'm Jess Mc Caul, live from the studios of Young News. In the world of international diplomacy, language is often used to mask reality. But rarely do we see a disconnect as violent and as cynical as the one currently unfolding between Bangkok and the borderlands of Cambodia. Some people have said that what we're witnessing could be even a masterclass in bureaucratic deception. The Thai government, speaking through its different spokespersons and its polished press releases, is constructing an alternate reality. They speak of restraint. They speak of international law. They dismiss urgent calls for peace from world leaders, including the President of the United States, as distorted narratives and misunderstandings. They want the world to believe that Thailand is a reluctant actor forced into conflict by a belligerent neighbor. They want you to believe that their F-16 fighter jets are instruments of peace, and that their naval blockades are measures of safety. Tonight it's time we strip away the diplomatic veneer. We're going to look past the press conferences and the suits. Let's take a look at the blood on the ground. Because while Bangkok talks about principles of distinction, their artillery is shelling a city of 200,000 people as we speak. While they demand sincerity, their navy is blockading food supplies to starve a civilian population. As we go to air tonight, December 23rd, the invasion is not slowing down, it's accelerating. As we speak, heavy artillery is currently pounding on the northern border, targeting villages that have no military value. Navy shelling continues throughout the Gulf of Thailand, turning a trade route into a kill zone. Over 524,000 civilians are homeless tonight, 2 nights before Christmas, sleeping in open fields because their homes have been turned into rubble. Tonight we don't just report news, we also dismantle their dictionary of deception. Let's take a look at their words: self-defense, landmines, humanitarian concern, and expose them for what they are: a coordinated disinformation campaign designed to cover up an imperialistic invasion fueled by political desperation. So let's start with their favorite phrase, and they call that distorted narrative. When the President of the United States announced a ceasefire on December 12th, stating that clearly that the conflict's trigger was an accident, the Thai government called that statement a misunderstanding. When ASEAN called for a halt to hostilities, Thailand said, oh, there's incomplete information. Let's be precise about who is distorting what. You cannot distort a 500-pound bomb crater in a schoolyard in Tamada village. You cannot misinterpret a tank driving through a village like the village of Chop Angkon. The only distortion happening is in Bangkok, where a fragile political regime is trying to bend reality to fit its political survival. They're doing their best to gaslight the entire international community. They claim they act only in self-defense, but let's look at the facts through the lens of international law. Self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter must be necessary and proportionate. You do not defend yourself by launching F-16 airstrikes 90 kilometers deep into a neighbor's territory. That is not defense. That is a deep strike offensive designed to degrade a nation's infrastructure. You do not defend yourself by declaring a naval blockade to starve a neighbor's economy. That is an act of war. Historically, a prelude to what they would desire to be total conquest. If Thailand was truly acting in self-defense, they would welcome transparency. They would welcome the ASEAN observer team, the AOT, immediately. Instead, they're blocking it. Why? Because independent observers would see that their tanks are moving forward, not backward. They would see that the defensive lines are actually invasion routes. Thailand is not defending its sovereignty, it's violating Cambodia's sovereignty. Let's also talk about their favorite excuse, landmines. I sure hope you have noticed the pattern because it's almost mathematical. Every time the international community pushes for peace, thank you, international community. Every time the international community pushes for peace, a Thai soldier coincidentally steps on a landmine. It happened in July, triggering the first war. It happened in August, freezing the peace process. It happened in November, canceling the Cambodian prisoner or hostage release. And it happened again on December 21st, just hours before the ASEAN meeting in Kuala Lumpur. This is not a coincidence. I hope there's nobody out there ignorant enough to believe that this is some sort of coincidence. It is so clearly a political strategy. We could call it the landmine algorithm. The Thai military uses these incidents to sabotage a diplomacy that they don't want to have whenever international pressure mounts. They manufacture victimhood to justify aggression. They need a reason to say no to peace. So they create one. They claim that these are new landmines planted by Cambodia, but they refuse every single request for independent verification. I hope the international community can read through this charade. They refuse joint investigations. They refuse United Nations experts. Why? Because they know the truth. These are old landmines, remnants of a war that, to be frank, they helped fuel decades ago. They're weaponizing a legacy of war to justify a new one. They're using the tragic injury of their own soldier as a political prop to derail peace talks. It is cynical, it's manipulative, it's very easy to understand. Thailand justifies bombing civilian cities like Poi Pait, a city of over 200,000 people, by claiming, listen here, folks, by claiming they are targeting illegal businesses or scam centers within sovereign Cambodia territory. Go through their media, go through their news. Their media repeats this narrative endlessly, maybe trying to dehumanize the victims, painting them as criminals rather than civilians. But let's apply some basic legal logic. Since when did the Thai military become the global police? Even if there is illegal activity in a building, don't forget, the building is in Cambodia, it's not Thailand. International law does not permit Thailand to drop a 500-pound bomb on Cambodia because there were some criminals working in a building somewhere. You don't fire mortars into a city of 200,000 people claiming that you can serve a criminal warrant on them. This is not your jurisdiction. This is a war crime disguised as law enforcement. It's an extrajudicial execution of an entire city block. And let's not forget the hypocrisy. Prime Minister Anutine himself, the Thai Prime Minister himself, has been clearly linked to scam financiers. Again, we have to ask, is he bombing Poi Pait to stop a crime, or is he bombing it to destroy the competition, or perhaps to destroy the evidence? Thailand cannot claim the moral ground, the moral high ground, while its own leadership is mired in the very corruption they claim to fight. This isn't a war on crime, it's a war for the control of the gray economy. Finally, let's address the most offensive claim. They claim restraint. They claim the principle of distinction. Thai spokespersons claim that they exercise maximum caution to avoid civilian harm. They use these sterile legal words to sound civilized. There is nothing civilized about using toxic gas on villagers in Praychan village. Using chemical weapons is a violation of one of the most fundamental taboos of warfare. There is nothing cautious about bombing a primary school in Tamada village. There is nothing humanitarian about displacing 524,000 Cambodians. When they say they're protecting civilians, they're lying. They're targeting civilians to create pressure. They're bombing bridges to cut off food. They're engaging in collective punishment, which is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. They call bombing a refugee camp neutralizing a threat. They call blockading food limiting logistical support. We call it state terrorism. And again, why are they doing this? Why bomb a neighbor to take out some sort of illegal activity that they deem is within their jurisdiction when it's in Cambodian jurisdiction? Why reject peace to fight over a landmine? Why? Because this war is not about national security on their side. For them, it's about regime survival. Thailand is entering what we could call a high-risk chaos cycle. The military establishment knows that if a fair election happens in January 2026, they will probably lose. Their proxy parties, the military's proxy parties, are unpopular. The appointed Senate is expiring. So, Thai Prime Minister Anutine needs a unifying war to rally ultra-nationalist votes. He needs to prove to the army that he's their strong man. And he's trading Cambodian lives for Thai votes. He's using this war as his magic potion to cure his own political crisis. So, in closing, to the world, do not buy the Thai narrative. Don't buy their products. Boycott Thailand. Every dollar you spend on their tourism funds the F-16s bombing Cambodian children's schools. Every Thai baht that you exchange supports a regime that gasses its neighbors. We ask you to not support the bully. We ask you to stand for the victim of this invasion and bloodthirsty aggression by this imperialistic regime. Stand for international law, not the rule of the jungle. Stand for peace, stand for Cambodia. Good night from Phnom Penh. I'm Jess Mc Caul.
ត្រយ៉ងនាំសារពិតគ្រប់ទីកន្លែង